Hi guys, how's it going? And welcome to another episode of the Flip the Mindset podcast. This is episode 31 and we have the fantastic Scottish influencer Molly Mcfarlane, or Miss Molly Mcfarlane as others know her as. How you doing?
I'm great, how are you?
Not too bad. Well, I say not too bad. I'm shattered.
Yeah,
as you know,
knackered.
I was doing a sleep out for the homeless last night. So the Kindness Homeless Street Team Glasgow, who I need to give a shout out to before we start this. So they have a soup kitchen that they run, and they've run it all through Christmas. I think people seen that picture in the snow where there were so many families gathered and they were out working. Which was actually not actually, it only started snowing, but I think the media just used that pictures to say like people are out. But they've been out the whole time. They have a soup kitchen, they provide hot drinks, toiletries, they provide clothing, they provide an outreach team who walk around Glasgow and hand like pot noodles and sausage suppers and all that out to the homeless. It is phenomenal. So we went to help them last night, me and Mark Hamilton, Scottish TikTok influencer, and Aidan Bryson. And then after that, Aidan had to go. He wasn't feeling that well. Me and Mark done the whole night sleeping rough, and it was mad.
Challenging.
It was mad. It was.
Yeah.
It was challenging. It was cold. It was damp. It stunk of pee. It's real humbling. It was real eye-opening. But next time you're doing it with us.
Me and Megan are coming next time. Megan is unaware, but
so
I've signed her up to it.
You've heard it here first. Molly and Megan are coming homeless with us next time.
Of course.
What a
Just tell me when. I'll make sure I'll be there.
I'm telling you, it is so humbling. And, you know, there's noises coming from everywhere. Then the rain starts, and then you really need to find somewhere safe, because you don't want to go in anyone else's territory and stuff like that, because for the homeless people, that's their home. The streets are their home. And then you don't want to cause any trouble. And then you've got the drunks. Oh my God, that's the worst bit. The drunks coming out and just being absolute arseholes. Do you know what I mean? But so how are you? What have you been up to? Talk to us.
What have I been up to? Well, I'm just home for Christmas at the moment, so I'm kind of attempting to take some time off. But I'm like notoriously bad for that. Always on my phone, like always kind of working, and I've never really taken a day off since I started. So I'm trying to like chill out a bit, and just do wee bits here and there while I'm home. But I'm living in Manchester at the moment with my boyfriend, and the 2 dogs, and I'm just kind of working myself. When I'm home, obviously I have Megan, we shoot together, but a lot of the time I just drag my boyfriend into it, and I'll be like, I'll make the dinner if you take 3 pictures of me today. Just 3 outfits, that's all we need to shoot.
He hates that, man.
Oh, he hates it, bless. But to be fair, like he doesn't actually moan about it, like doing it. He goes and he tries, but he is just shite at it. Can I swear on this?
Right,
he is just shite on it. So I like feel bad, like then it's just like I'm gonna have, because I'm like, he's rubbish at this, and then I'm like, do you know, it is hard when you don't have someone that can relate. Whereas me and Megan would cut about till it's dark until we get the right picture, because we do take it seriously, it is our job. Just working away, really enjoying life. I'm very lucky. And
so I think I asked Megan this, how many snaps do you get, see when the boyfriend's taking a pic? How many times is he taking that pic? Are you a perfectionist, or like are you like that? No, I can't have that one. No, that one. But not
honestly,
this one.
I'm not that fussy, because I kind of just accept, well, that's how I look today, so I'm going to need to just work with one of these. It's just like I can't change how I look, but it's mainly like the lighting for me. I just need to make sure we get the right. So it could take time to get the lighting and the right spot and the right background, and then it'll take me 2 seconds from there. Like I'm really not that fussy.
Quite right. So you've talked, we had a good talk before this, and you talk a lot about like the misconception of influencing and stuff like that, and the misconception of the modern day influencer. Before we get into that and we discuss the reasons why people might have the misconception or why it's easily misunderstood, I want to dive into, first of all, how you get into influencing. Was it something that just fell upon you, or was it gradual through school? Is it something you've always wanted to do? Because it's very much a freedom job, as you say. You're so lucky. You live a lot of young girls' dreams.
So I would say that like taking pictures and dressing up and like fashion was like my thing and something I was so passionate about from a really young age. My mum and dad are really stylish and they love, like, they wear the most mental clothes. I remember one of my parents' nights, my dad wore a leopard print shirt and I was like, Dad, I really appreciate that you're cool, but no the day. Like,
Crocodile
today,
Dundee, man.
of all days, must you wear that shirt? But yeah, mum and dad have always been into it, so I've always been like quite passionate about it as well. And I genuinely was just my hobby, like dressing up and taking pictures, even if it was just like mirror selfies in my room, or like if I was going anywhere I would make sure like I get my pals to help me with a wee picture. And my following just kind of grew, and it wasn't something I forced, but once I knew I was successful at it, I did put in more effort, because I thought I was seeing the likes of like Zoella and like all these big YouTubers and influencers living the dream, and I thought, well, if they're doing it, like, why can't I? And like I say now, like I do think I was born to do something like this, because I just don't see myself in anything else. Like I'm so passionate about it and I do love it. I mean, there's like with every job, like there's some things be a bit of a pain in the arse. It's raining all day, like where am I supposed to take my picture in the freezing cold? Like if you're changing in the car in the snow, like of course like sometimes it is difficult, but and you do get a lot of grief as well.
I mean, people don't understand it, you know, you've got your arse out, try to get into a fucking pair of shorts that you're modelling in the car, you know, outside the car, half in the car, half out the car. It's not
as glamorous as you think
it's
at
definitely
all.
not.
And obviously you get like a real backlash from it as well, so it's not something that's like dead easy. But yeah, I would say I kind of just fell into it, but once I knew that I was good at it, I thought, right, this is my calling. So I did work really hard at it, and then brands would just start reaching out. And
when was that moment? When was the moment that you thought, you know what, I
was going on a night
out
and I literally thought, I'm ordering this outfit to wear on this night out so that I can get a picture. Like I knew that's what I was doing, and I obviously wasn't saying it out loud because my pals would be like, right, so is that why you're coming? And I literally ordered this outfit of ASOS and I thought, that's unreal. I am wearing that if I'm getting a picture. I'm getting it in my living room. Like I'll make sure I get my friends to come early, help me take a picture. And the picture done so well, like likes wise.
So were you thinking business already? Were you already?
By that point, I think I was, because I was getting like more and more likes, and I thought, right, I'm going to keep trying at this and see what happens. And then that picture done so well, and I think I gained like 1,000 followers in a week, and I was like still working and like Eden Mill. I was like just like working my 9 to 5. It was quite chill, and I was like, right, I'm going to keep doing this. And then I got up every morning at like 6 a.m, and I would dress up to go to the office, and every time I went into the office I was like, right, what's she gone today? Like everyone else was just in like the most casual clothes, and I'd come in like these big long skirts, and I would take a picture in my mirror every morning, and I'd done like this work diaries outfit thing like every day, so I was working it in amongst my job. And that's when I was like, no, I'm taking this seriously, to see where I can go. And then literally from that I did gain 1,000 followers, and I got like emails and stuff from brands. I ended up changing my account to a business account to see what happened, and I was getting like DMs and offers just to take clothes and post in them, and I thought, this is ideal, like free clothes, that's amazing. Then I went to like my first event and found out that you could get paid for it. It was Emily Shack that told me. Right. I went to the event with her and she Emily's said, yeah, great. Like this is like my full-time thing, like of course you can get paid. She was like, start charging. So I did, and it was like small amounts. I remember like I charged like £25 for a post, and I was like, oh my fucking god, £25 for like taking a picture. Like, I thought it was amazing, literally. And it just grew from there. See,
it is a business, you know, like that's what I was saying on the McGanno's podcast. Like people say, why do you charge for posts, blah blah blah, you charge for posts, that's so stuck up. They've got to realise that if a small company comes to you and you share, so you charge them £500 for a post, you potentially make them 10 grand, 15 grand worth of sales. Yeah. You could actually put their business on the map. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because through you, all the followers go straight to their page, they start buying. Do you know what I mean? So it is a business. This is your brand. Yeah, it's nice to hear that someone understands like the background of it, because a lot of people think that I just do this for a laugh. Like I just sit here and do it for free because I like taking pictures. It's just not. I wouldn't do it this long if I wasn't making money from it. Yeah. Of course, like it would always be my hobby on the side, but I wouldn't take it as seriously if I wasn't earning. Do you know what I mean? Because there's no point in putting this much into like something you love without gaining anything back.
So it is nice to hear that people understand
you had the passion as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely understand more now. I think I was fogged by a bit of the mist that many other people were fogged by growing up with influencers.
Yeah, fair enough.
If I was dating an influencer back in the day, in the Carbon days and all that, when Emily Shack and that were running about, or you were like, you would always be like, oh, but it was probably more envy and jealousy, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably because we didn't understand what the job entailed. We just thought it was
a lot of the time people do have a sort of like bitter attitude to seeing people doing something that they love, because not everyone has the opportunity to do that, which is so unfair, obviously. But I think that is the problem, and influencers do get slagged for saying it, but a lot of it does come from jealousy, where girls, they are getting free stuff and like living this like dream, but it's not handed to you. You don't just hand in a CV to Instagram. Like you have to build it up yourself. It is hard work involved. Yeah.
You know, people would just think, oh, beautiful looking girl, she's just swagging about taking pics and all that. So no, there's a lot that goes into it. Do you know what I mean? A lot of, editing your stuff for YouTube, a lot of hours doing that, a lot of your pics, getting pics knocked back.
Oh, that's the worst.
It was actually Emily Shack I was out with. Why is Emily, I know you'll probably be watching this, why are you not on this podcast yet?
I know.
This has been so long, and I keep saying it, I'll write to her and I'll be like, Emily, it's time for the podcast now, she'll like it. You know what I mean? Put a wee smiley face, do you know what I mean? I was like, Emily, you told me you were coming on so long ago, man. Get on this podcast. So like Emily was talking about the kind of, you get changed anywhere. Rain, hail or snow, you will be getting changed in your motor in the middle of the town. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or the middle of whatever you're shooting. Yeah. That says it's not glamorous. Yeah. This is not like some sexy, do you know what I mean?
And like the parcels and stuff you get, like, I feel like I'm never finished carrying loads of stuff. I'm a wee girl. I'm 5'2". Like, there's so much like admin and sorting and organising that goes into it behind the scenes that people wouldn't see. I say to Sean, have you got 2 days free this week that you can like help me out with the parcels and going through them and organising and like going through my schedule and stuff like that, because I'm a one-man band. Like, I'm completely by myself. So you'd like, honestly, if I could afford it, I would hire someone to help me out. Yeah.
See, I understood it a bit more when I had my hat company. Yeah. Jay Monroe came and modelled my hats for me, alright, and my t-shirts. And after that, I thought back in the day, I'd done a wee bit of modelling. You know, when I was handsome back in the old day. So Jay Monroe was doing it, and I was like, fuck that, man. You know what I mean? He's getting changed in the freezing cold, and there was another girl, Ellie, out with us as well. They're getting changed in the cold, and then they're standing taking hundreds of pictures, loads of different poses and all that. And I was thinking, you get the average Joe to do that, they're sacking that in about 10 minutes, they're home.
No, it's absolutely, you've either got it or you don't. And it's not like, I always say, I do work really hard at what I do, and I wouldn't compare it to like NHS hard work. Like, of course, it's nothing, but it's a hard work in its own right, and you need to be a certain type of person to do it. All these people on like Twitter slagging the job, you try it. Yeah. Like, try it. Let's swap jobs, see how you got on.
People say the oil rig job's not. One of my mates, literally all he does is sit with his feet up on Snapchat all day, posting me pics of him with his feet up. He's a something to do with a rig position or something like that, some mad job. He just sits with his feet up all day and drinks tea. He gets paid a fortune.
Luxury.
Do you know what I mean? So it's all circumstantial as well. You know 100%. What I mean? What does the job entail? Is it a hard graft? Is it like a more extensive graft job, or is it a certain uniqueness that you need to have, or you need to be really articulate? You know what I mean? But it also has a lot of ups for you as well. You know, even me doing the podcast has a lot of ups for me. And it is very misunderstood. Yeah, definitely 100%. Misunderstood, and that's one of the big reasons I wanted to get like yourself and Megano on this new generation of influencers who you're a brand, you're a person. Your followers actually, like, they are in love with you guys. Like, I know it's like they are though. They are in love with you guys. They sign on Instagram to get some of you every night, every day. That must feel good. Yeah,
it's bizarre. Like, something I never ever thought would be like I don't know, I just never, because I'm a nice person, but I'm not I have like a group of friends that I've like grown up with, and that's it, and I kind of I'm not the sort of person that goes out my way to speak to loads of people. I'm quite introverted, like I'm just with the people I know. So like having strangers come up and speak to me is just bizarre. Like, it happened kind of in dribs and drabs before lockdown, and there'd be a few people that would recognise you, and it was just so nice, and they were always like a bit younger. It was dead sweet. But the first time clubs reopened in, I think it was like August July, August sort of time.
Yep.
And me and Megan both went out, and I remember like we were kind of separated. There was loads of people in between us, and we looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like the amount of people that were coming up to us and like asking for pictures. And I actually went outside with my sister, and she wasn't listening to me, but I was like, is my neck red? And she was like, looking at me, I had this like rash off my neck. So I was just so nervous and like so overwhelmed. And obviously I'm going out, I don't ever really drink, so I'm like stone cold sober, and everyone's coming up to me with your headlocks and the pictures, and I'm like, so what the fuck is going on? And it was a real like shock when we first went out again, because obviously if you're out and about like in a cafe or a restaurant or whatever, people may recognise it, but they're not going to say if they're sitting there just having their lunch. Whereas when people are drunk, they've kind of got the like courage to come up and like wind you up and ask for selfies. So that was like, I couldn't believe. Me and Megan, I literally looked at each other like across the room, like, what the hell is happening? Are
you the sensible one, or are you like Megan? The first time I met Megan, she was doing roly-polies in Manuka.
Before we go out, I warn her not to do. I say, I'll say, Megan, no splits tonight.
And the splits.
Not doing the splits
That's
tonight.
Her trademark. Roly-polies and the splits. Literally in the middle of the dance floor, roly-polies.
No, my engagement party, she's up on the stage doing the splits. I was like, of course, obviously. No, I'm the sensible one. We are complete opposites, but I think that's why we work. We like balance each other out. Like, she's crazy and I'm quite calm, and like she's the confident one and I'm like sometimes a bit awkward. Like, she brings like a better side out of me. Like, we're complete opposites, but in the same way we have so many of the same like morals and stuff like that, which is why we got on so well.
We will come to your relationship, because that's a big thing, and people love your relationship with Megan. So let's take it back a wee bit. Let's talk about life before Miss Molly May. Miss Molly May. Molly May. Hi, Molly May. Miss Molly Mcfarlane. So Miss Molly Mcfarlane is who we're seeing as now, but let's talk about Molly Mcfarlane back in the day. Where did you grow up? What was life like for you?
Grew up in Barhead. A really nice like wee life. Like, cannot complain. I live with like my big brother, my two sisters, and my mum and dad. And hunters of animals. My mum and dad are always rescuing animals. My house is like a zoo.
Amazing.
So yeah, I grew up in Barhead. I've lived there like my whole life. I went to school there, and then when all my friends were moving to high school, my mum and dad wanted to send me to a private school. They had a really big music department there, and at the time I was like, why are you taking me away from my friends? Like, I'm gutted I don't want to go. But that school like made me the person I am. I'm still not the most academic person, but there was things I was good at, and other schools weren't really giving me like that opportunity to do that. Like music, art and drama all at once. A lot of schools don't allow you to do that, which makes no sense to me. If someone's good at something, let them do it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you need to do one science in certain schools. Why? If you're not good at it, what a waste of time. So yeah, mum and dad sent me there, and I kind of grew up like in like the choir and things like that. I loved like I trained in like classical singing, which I absolutely loved. That was like my passion when I was younger. I still like to sing, but like I'm a bit as I've grown up, got like a bit more introverted, and I don't like to perform because it's just a bit awkward. So yeah, I grew up and I loved school. Like I know you don't hear a lot of people saying that, but I really, really enjoyed it. Obviously no one likes the exam side of things. I was a bit of a nervous wreck, stuff like that. Just didn't do very well. But I made like all my pals there, and just got to like thrive in a place that I was comfortable, whereas a lot of people in school don't get that opportunity. They're like forced to do into maths 3 times. Like, nobody wants something called into anymore. So I was like in a really comfortable environment in school, so I really, really enjoyed it. And so when I left, I was like, what the hell am I going to do? Like, I have no idea, because obviously I liked singing, but it definitely wasn't something I wanted to pursue, because performing makes me ill. Like, that is just not my scene. It would make me miserable. Like, it would take away the fun part of singing and just make me so nervous about it. So I was like, that's just not my calling. Like, I love it obviously, but I just not something I want to do. And I was like, what the hell do I do? And my mum was like, my mum and dad are so chill with like me and all my siblings. Like, do what makes you happy. Like, take your time. So I ended up saying, I told you earlier, I was working for a like family run company. Then they went to my school, so that's how I knew them. And they basically put me in like an apprenticeship to do HR and business, which was so fun. I used to love the gossip in HR, like seeing everyone's wages and all that, and like if anyone had a complaint, I'd sit in the meetings and take the minutes. Like I was 17 and I was in HR. It was so random.
You're loving that.
It was so good. I loved it.
No life experience.
And it was a great wage, not at all,
Zero.
And I was getting this great wage, and I was like, how the hell did I get here? Well, not great, but like at the time, like when you leave school, I thought it was unreal.
Yeah, HR.
Yeah.
Good.
So I did really enjoy it, but like I just knew it wasn't my calling. So I said to my mum and dad, like, I'm not enjoying it, but like I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And they kind of said like, well, what is it what you do? And I was like, well, I'm loving doing like the Instagram thing like on the side, and I know this is something that people are successful in. I just need to have a go at it. But I just don't have the time, because I was working 9 to 5 and it was in Easter House. Like by the time I was home, it was dark. I couldn't even get out shooting content. Like it was.
See, this is a big crossroads in your life, because some parents would just go no.
Oh, absolutely no. I'm
Many
so
parents
fortunate.
would go no. You continue working.
Yeah.
This is the real world then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the answer.
Yeah. I think like at the time I maybe had like my last wage and maybe like some savings, and I said like, you know, this will get me by. Mum and dad were like, no, it's not. So they said, you can come and help us with the social media, like in the shop. Mum and dad are hairdressers. Help us with that and we can pay you like a bit. But it was like nothing. Like I really wasn't earning much at all, and I was just like, I really need this time. And like, thank God they gave me that, because I honestly think I would still be working and doing Instagram on the side here and there if I got the chance to. Because I put in that period of time, like I made my YouTube channel, I really focused on my Instagram. I done everything I could. I went to every event I could, like to try and meet people and kind of network. And it's like the rest is history. Like in between that time, I was offered this job, but it wasn't really a job, because I actually wasn't paid for it, but it was like this opportunity to host my own event in Topshop in Argyle Street that I told you about like last night. And I always say to this day, that's my biggest achievement. Like people that I didn't know turned up and came to my event and watched me like talk about clothes and like try them on. It was, and my name was on like this poster and stuff in Topshop. It was absolutely wild. And the girl that actually helped me do it, she was like the personal shopper in there, so she was kind of hosting the event and it was my name to it. And she is like my friend to this day. Like she gave me such a good opportunity.
She just put trust in you and just seen it in you.
So one person to believe in you, and from there, like then I got a contract with Topshop.
Wow.
That went on for so long. Sadly, they're like no longer a thing. But like Topshop were like the be all and end all for me. Like I could not believe I got that. And then it just spiraled from there. Like that one opportunity gave me like everything I have today. Yeah,
Topshop was the shop. Do you know what I mean? Especially for young women, it was the shop.
Yeah. I'm so sad to see it go. Like I love Topshop.
So you getting an event there is pretty. You got to understand the magnitude of that. That's absolutely huge.
Yeah.
You know, and it would have got your name right out there.
Yeah.
You know, the people interested in you after that and stuff like that. Was it a rapid change?
Yeah, it was wild. I remember saying, like, if you'd have, at the end, like saying thanks for coming, and I said like, if you'd have told me I was doing this a year ago, I would have told you where to go. Like I wouldn't know. And every time I do something similar to that, I'm still like in shock. Like I don't take one moment of it like for granted, because I know that I'm in a fortunate position. A lot of people aren't offered those opportunities and they need to work like a lot harder. But yeah, I don't take 1 minute of it for granted.
It's not just that though. I mean, many of us are handed opportunities but don't know what to do with them, or it's not our time, or it's not our
it's not
the opportunity that we needed at that time, or stuff like that. So it's not just about getting handed an opportunity, it's about what you make of it after it.
Yeah.
This is what people don't understand. Molly was handed an opportunity, that's why she got that. No. She was handed an opportunity and then made the best of that opportunity and put a lot of work in behind the scenes to make that happen.
Yeah.
It's not just about the opportunity. Do you know what I mean? People just have this misconception that you know,
you're kind of handed it.
If someone takes a chance on you, then that's why you made it. No. There's a lot in between that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So the credit there is all to you.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that. The school thing that you talked about was quite interesting, because you're absolutely right. I'm wanting to kind of podcast on how that we should maybe see, like the guidance department should maybe vet pupils as they're growing and do a portfolio and actually see what they're good at.
Yeah.
You know, are they articulate? You know what I mean? Are they ridiculously intelligent? Are they just art and crafty, stuff like that?
Yeah.
What are they good at? So
what is the point in them learning something that they're not going to use? It's a waste of valuable time in school.
Absolutely.
Your time in school is your time to grow and know what you're good at. Why on earth are you forcing them to do a science?
I know.
Like, what use is that?
I know.
I understand maybe first to third year in and out of different subjects and seeing what, or first and second year, whatever it is, seeing what you're good at. But your opportunity to pick your subject should be literally what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, and I know like a lot of people would maybe try and like take the piss, but it's sit down and talk to them. And I feel like there wasn't any, like, when I was in school, I was in a lucky enough position where I could pick the subject I wanted. But I remember I was just kind of given that. I would have liked to like sit down with a teacher or a mentor, like, this is why I'm doing this, because I'd maybe like to do this in the future, or I know that I'm good at this, or I know I'm bad at that, so I'm not going to do that. Like being forced to do PE.
Yeah.
Like, I understand everyone needs like a daily exercise, but see, in my school, it made absolutely no sense. We're all forced to do hockey and rugby. That was a waste of my time.
I actually really loved hockey and touch rugby, but that's the thing, that was
that would be good for you.
But yeah,
but like, I'm a wee girl, I'm 5'2", and I like to sing and dance. Like, why on earth am I doing that?
Yeah, one of my pals hated that. He actually used to fake he was ill just to
literally,
not do it.
Yeah.
And I totally get it, because obviously it all comes down to what universities demand. And that's really,
absolutely,
because anyone at school, you're demanded all through school.
Yeah.
You're going to university. This is why you're at school. You're at school for uni. You're not at school for any other reason. Uni is the end goal. Uni is what you should be doing.
I sat down, I applied for uni. I remember my 6th year, like, I think it was at a forum tutor or something like that, spoke to me towards the end of the year, or when everyone had to apply for uni. I was just kind of forced to do it. And I remember writing, what is it, your thing to apply to uni, the big long essay
personal
thing. Personal statement. I've got nothing to say for myself, and I don't want to do primary school teaching. Why am I applying for this? Like, I was so forced into it. And then when I left, like, although my school was great, no one asked, how are you getting on? What are you doing now? Like, can we help in any way? Like, none of that happened. And my personal statement was an absolute waste of my time. Like, I didn't want to do that.
People will be in the comments going, oh, this is just the way the world is. That's just the way the world is. That's just the way it is. But does it need to be like that?
No.
Can we have some change? You know what I mean? Change is good.
Yeah, how's about maybe sitting people down in school and telling them how to apply for a mortgage? I think that's more important.
Oh, big time.
I've not got a clue.
How to do your taxes. My God.
Can someone sit me down still? Confused. Like, if my mum and dad hadn't have helped me with that, wouldn't have a clue. Because that's not in
jail for tax evasion.
Exactly.
It is. These things are like when we come out of school, we realise, don't we?
Yeah.
And then our mums and dads, you know, or whoever is there for us, they drag us through that limbo period.
Yeah.
They help us, but a lot of people don't have that. You know, so they come out of school and they're like,
what did I do?
Where did I go? What did I do? And then there's might be easy money and drugs there, do you know what I mean? Or there might be easy money and trouble there, do you know what I mean? And then we moan at people for going into jail, you know what I mean? Like for getting to jail and stuff, where they might not have a mum and dad who might be able to teach them
how to do
how to maybe recover things or to do their taxes and all that kind of stuff. It's the system's wrong.
Yeah,
I believe the school system's wrong too.
Yeah.
I absolutely do.
I also think that I have a lot of teachers and maybe mums and dads would kind of frown upon young children now saying that they would want to be an influencer or be a YouTuber, as if that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
To put yourself out there and put yourself on a platform and talk to people and interact online isn't a bad thing. It's actually a really successful thing. I wouldn't not advise any kids. I wouldn't set your heart on it, because not everyone's cut out for it. But I wouldn't, if a young boy was like, I'm really interested in football, but I'm not really that good at it, and I don't want to coach, how's about start a YouTube channel on football? Like, why is that so wrong?
Some boys have.
Yeah,
some
and they're
great
so
ones.
successful. My first subscriber ever was a boy from Barhead, and he had a YouTube channel about football, and it's like so successful now.
It's not the Novo. Did you Novo get? No, what's his name again?
I know who you mean though.
No, there's another guy that goes on and does it, man, and he is brilliant.
Really?
You know, he does all the games, and he does, and then
like the gaming thing as well. I know like a lot of wee boys would probably take the piss on that and sit on that like all night.
Not just
the money
boys,
people,
right? It's not just boys, it's boys and girls, the female influencers and female gamers now. It's
so successful.
It's phenomenal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just do it. I think, definitely we should have just more in school, more of like,
Absolutely.
like, okay, here's a young Kenny. I was all right. I was not ridiculously intelligent, but but I was musical family, so I done higher music and stuff like that. Remember the Baroque era and all that
Loved
kind of
it.
stuff. The music was all Italian. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like, it was a lot of it was.
It was actually quite an intense exam. I think
it was
people
very
would,
difficult, man.
Yeah.
I was shiting myself. I was playing the bagpipes in one of my exams in front of one of the best pipers everywhere. Mother's instrument was drums.
Yeah.
And I loved music, so I was musical and sporty. So that was me, musical and sport. Now, my deputy head, Jim Collins, God, he's God love him, man, and he watches this and he always supports me. Well, I think he still watches this, always supports me. I was in his higher biology class. Now, he knew, man, I wasn't passing the higher biology. He knew that, you know what I mean? And he also knew that I used to pretend I was ill to go and play the bagpipes.
Yeah.
You know, I was just bagpipe daft at the time. I was musically daft, man. I was all the time. And I would actually sneak from the biology class to the piping room because I knew that the piping tutor wouldn't be in at these times, and I would just sit in there and just play and make tunes and that. He knew that, and I think he let me do it half the year, so he did. He knew that what the biology wasn't for me. He knew that, and he supported me.
You were focusing on like something that was important to you because you wanted to pass your music exam with flying colours. So.
And I played for Greenock Morton at the time, so my football dream was there. My head teacher did not support it. He was all uni.
Yeah.
You know, uni, go to uni. It's all about uni. You know, and his kids and his friends' kids were all the real, not posh kids at school, but the real, you know, well, the posh ones, the rich ones, and the ones that were getting like did 7 A's, do you know what I mean? And they would look down on us for going and look down on me for trying to be a footballer, and I became one.
Yeah.
So we need to push each other to do it. It would be nice to have that wee bit where the teacher sits you down. What age group do you think? What year do you think? Maybe second to third year you're monitored through.
Yeah.
And let's see what this...
Fourth, fifth and sixth year you should be allowed to do what you're good at. Otherwise,
let's see
what's
what
the
Sophie's
point?
good at.
Yeah.
You know, so make it this little Sophie, and she's good at maths and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So let's see what she's good at, right? Okay, what can we combine with maths to give her the best start in life? Do you know what I mean?
And also, like, I remember hitting like fourth, fifth and sixth year and people were asking me, what is it you want to do? And I'm like, well, I'm not being funny, but I'm 14, so I don't, like, I used to literally hate when people asked me that. And I remember going to mum and dad's salon and stuff like that, and maybe their clients would ask, and my mum was like, why were you rude there? And I'm like, because that's so much pressure. I don't know. Like, stop asking me that. I'm a child. Like, I've not a clue what I want to do. I still don't know what I'm doing.
It's just conditioning, to be honest. You know, see, if you grow up, like, none of us really knew, did we?
Yeah.
Because there's a pivotal age at like 5th year and 6th year that you start maybe kind of grown up and knowing maybe what angle you're going to go for, you know, but maybe make it everyone who was at school when they were like, I want to be a policewoman or a policeman, they're not a policeman. You know what I mean? That's not what happened.
Yeah.
So, or a doctor, they're not a doctor. You know what I mean? Only the odd one or two became doctors.
My friends from like the private school I went to are like lawyers, doctors, dentists, and then there's me. Like, of course, like, there are successes from going to uni, like, and they all really enjoy what they do. Well, I think they do anyway. But by the time they graduated, I had 100k. My mum and dad threw me a 100k party in the garden, and it was like my graduation party. It took me the same amount of time as it took them to graduate, as it took me to find out what I wanted to do and be actually successful in it and making money and enjoying myself. And it was so funny, it came around the same time as their graduation party. It took me a good 4 years to get where I wanted to from leaving school. But like, doesn't mean that uni isn't, like, of course, successful, because obviously they're all thriving. But
everyone thrives in their own stuff.
in their own way, but it takes everybody like their own path. I mean, Sean was working like my boyfriend Sean, he's working in marketing, and he was actually miserable. Like, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he would go to work and he would text me like, I feel sick. And I was like, what do you mean? And he would send me pictures of his hands, and he would be rashes in his hands. He was just so uncomfortable being there. And he was like, I just can't be in this office anymore. It's actually making me ill.
His anxiety and stuff,
it's just so anxious and so miserable being there, that he was like, I just need to start a whole new career. And obviously that is hard when you're maybe like, I think he's maybe 23, 22, and now he's like the happiest he's ever been doing what he wants to do. It just takes like one like plunge at something, when especially if you're miserable. What is the point? And there's nothing worse than being miserable in your job.
That's another thing. If he'd probably said that to his mates, you know, they would be like, mate, just you've got a job, man, this is a real world. You can't change and just, you know what I mean? But you can. He's now thriving at coaching, do you know what I mean? Good on him. And we need that belief in ourselves. I think that we're just mismanaged a wee bit, I think, you know, through school. And it's nothing to do with the teachers or anything like that. It's just
because that's what they're programmed and told to do. Like, it's not really their fault at all. It's just the way the school system is. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't. Cause
it's weird because on every podcast now I feel like we talk about the school system. I think it's in a lot of people's heads now that they're realising that it maybe failed them a wee bit. Do you know what I mean? I
actually listened to your episode with JP Gallagher.
JP?
JP, I went to school with him.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm, we're in the same primary class.
JP is...
I just call him John Paul. Like JP's like a new name for me. I would just call him John Paul.
He's an animal. An absolute animal of an athlete, you know what I mean? And a coach. Do you know what I mean? And he's got the mindset of I always say the mindset of the animal instinct, the predator, man. He's you know, he's thriving. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
he's one of I've genuinely not seen him since I was maybe like 11. Like, I've not seen him since I was in school, even though I don't know if he still lives in Barhead. Like, I don't know where he stays, but I remember I was just always like seeing him about. But then when I left school, I was one of those people that I just watched their life go by on like Facebook or Instagram, whatever. And he was just so successful. I've literally never seen him since.
They've opened their own gym. Called the Dakalek Gym, I think it's called. They've opened that in Drumchapel and they're smashing it. Him and Nico. My coach is obviously European champion, Nico Carrillo. Who they're just absolutely smashing it, you know. And probably at school they were told, no way you're going to become a professional fighter and open your own gyms and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? And they've got the world at their feet.
And he probably wasn't in school thinking that's what I want to do, but that's what he like worked hard and fell into.
Well, he said he was pressurised a lot off his dad to do, like to win. Right. And he fell in love with the sport. That's why he coaches now. There was a lot of pressure put on him when he was young, because a lot of kids do grow up with serious pressure put on them. Do you know what I mean? What was your... So you went to private school, right? What was your mum and dad's decision to do that? Because I talk to people all the time, right? I talk to people I know who have came from the schemes, and I talk to people who have came from welfare upbringings, and it's a question I always pop them: are you going to send your children to private school? So
my neighbours went, all of them went. There was 6 of them, like 6 kids, and they all went. And I think they told my mum and dad about like the music department there and the opportunity. My mum and dad literally could not afford to send me there, but worked really, really hard and thought that's because I kind of did struggle in school academically. It just wasn't, there was no area that I loved, English or maths. Like, there was nothing that was great at. Mum and dad knew I liked that. And my brother didn't go. They said to him, listen, we're going to send, he was a bit older than me, we're going to send Molly, like, what do you want to do? And he said, I don't like all that, I'm not bothered. So I went, and then they gave my sisters the opportunity, and just because they wanted to make it fair for everyone, but they just thought that was the place for me. And they were right, it was, because there were so many extracurricular things, like there was a lot of charity work in my school that I got involved in that I absolutely love and still carry on to like this day. A lot of like after school clubs and things that I don't know if you get everywhere, and that gave me a lot of confidence, because I just wasn't that confident myself and didn't really like the academic side of things in school, and I got to do everything else I wanted to and being like a sociable person. So that was their reasoning for sending me. And then they said to my sister, Ruby, do you want to go? And she went. She's like a brain box, she's so smart, so she would have done well anywhere. My mum and dad always say that. She would have got the success that she would have got literally in any school. And my sister Lily, the youngest, she went for a year and said, this isn't for me, I don't like this, is not my type of place. Like, and they said, cool, like, no problem. She was like honestly 12, so mature about it, and was like, I don't want to be here.
You know, that's
and they
really
took her out, and she went to another school.
That's really good parenting. Take the money side away, right, for the money that it costs to send, because it costs a fortune to send your children to private schools. Take the money away from it. It's such good parenting that you can just turn around and going, the right fit. What's the right fit for our daughter Molly? What's the right fit for her?
Yeah.
Can we do it? Can we afford it? Because your mum and dad were hairdressers. Do you know what I mean?
They weren't like millionaires.
They must have.
The people that I went to school with, by the way, like there were some people that I was just like, oh, I remember arriving there and being like, oh my god, like the money in this school, like.
Yeah, my mate for the scheme sends his.
Does he?
Children there.
What school
and
is it?
He's no idea. I don't even know any
St.
names
Aloysius, like
I don't
just
know
up
any
there.
names of any private schools.
You'll know the uniform, the big long skirt and the green blazer. That was my school.
When you were walking like in Annie's Land and stuff like that, you would always see like the pupils. But he would turn up obviously, and he's made a lot of money for himself. And he would turn up and there would be people in Rolls Royces dropping their kids off and all that stuff. Like, and he was like, wow.
It was mad.
And then my other old friend I used to talk to, he actually worked, was it Rain Kitchens he worked in? And he sent his kid, and literally he couldn't afford to send his kid. He got himself, in some debt sending his kid, but he just used to work extra hours, 60 hours a week, maybe even more, just to send his kid to private school. And he actually felt out of place as well because he was showing up. He was to pick his kid up, and he's we can afford, he's wee Ford, and there's
but
people.
I recognised when I was there that there were a lot of people there in the same position as me, where their mum and dads weren't like these millionaires. That they just worked hard because they wanted them to get this opportunity. And I honestly, I'm still friends with the girls that I went to primary school with. Like they're like my bridesmaids. Like it doesn't make a difference what school you go to. Yeah, it suited me, and that was maybe quite a rare case, but I don't know if I don't think I would send my kids to private school. I've had the opportunity and I absolutely loved it, but it's not for everyone. And I think I'd maybe, if I could afford it, maybe give them the option like my mum and dad did, but if they didn't want to, there's no way I would bother, because everyone I know that's went to public school are equally great people. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. And I know there's this perception of like private schools and the kind of people that go there, but I think like I speak for like the normal people that do go, like there are like great opportunities there. But
the smartest person I've ever met, I know a lot of smart people, Jen, she'll be watching this, I grew up with her. She became like she's incredible at maths. She was so smart. She came from a real tough upbringing. Not tough upbringing because her mum made the best of it, and she didn't come from money. And now she's head teacher at a school in Glasgow, and she got all the awards for maths, all through uni, everything, awards, constantly, all school awards, everything, get the highest in the whole of whatever Scotland for a maths exam or higher maths exam, done advanced higher maths, got A pluses or whatever in that, and she is so smart. And it just shows you, do you know what I mean? It really doesn't matter what school. She just went to my school, normal school.
Doesn't matter.
For me, I would send my kids to probably just a normal school. But if I could afford it and I could see that I had had a young Molly, and I thought that would be the place for. So my son David, if that was the place for him and I could see it in him, then I would probably do it. There's a lot of people who do put themselves in a lot of debt doing it these days, people that might be watching this, because they feel pressured to put their kids in private school now, maybe to keep up with others and stuff like that. But
it's not the be all and end all though. It's like, in the grand scheme of things, it's not important. You're going to be the person you are regardless. Like I think I would have maybe taken me longer because I wouldn't have had maybe some of the same opportunities, but I'd always be the same like normal person. Like,
very interesting subject, man. Something we've not really talked about on the podcast.
Actually, me and my friends talk about it a lot, because I went, like, a lot of my friends went to private school and some of us didn't, and they're always like, I just don't understand it, like I don't get that. And I'm like, it's not for everyone, it's really not. Because even my sisters, we're all exactly the same type of people, but it suited me and it didn't suit them. Do you know what I mean? And we're also in the same family, same upbringing, and the same education. So it really just depends. It's not for everyone.
Very interesting. When you were growing up, did you have any influential figure that you kind of looked up to? Was there anyone you kind of that had a big impact in your life?
Like family or like a famous person or
anyone?
Maybe like my mum and dad like are just such hard workers, and it shows. Like my whole family are grafters, and we're all like very close. We literally all live like on the same street, and like I would say that just them even like aunts and uncles, all the people that I was surrounded by are just really, really hard workers. All in, like, my gran's a hairdresser as well. She's got her own salon still, and she's like 75, I think my gran is.
My God.
Yeah, she still works. So yeah, I would say that just like my general like family members kind of always kept me like a grounded, like kind person. And seeing how hard they worked, and I knew if I wanted anything, because obviously I do have like severe shopping addiction, love clothes, love my fashion, love makeup, everything. And I thought if I want anything, like clearly I'm going to need to work hard for it, because my mum and dad, as I said, always well dressed, like put together people, but I know that they're not handed that.
Apart from the leopard t-shirt.
Apart from the leopard print shirt.
That, right,
do you know what? It wasn't even bad.
Molly,
like, I wouldn't even take it away
what's
from...
What's your dad's name?
Kenny as well.
Oh, so it is, you told me. Kenny, great name. Terrible t-shirt.
Honestly, I quite like the shirt. But as a 12-year-old in school, at the private school, I thought, Dad, really, today do you need to wear
man,
that?
bowling right up in a
100% wore it deliberately.
Superb.
It was deliberate. He wanted a bit of attention, I think.
Superb.
I know.
I'm right up for that, man. So you and Megano,
yep.
you know, it's just, you have just exploded your friendship.
Yeah.
Everyone loves you.
Yeah.
You know, after the Megano podcast, I had people asking me to get you on because you're the other side of Megano.
The other half.
And I had about 200 emails of people trying to get me to put them in touch with Megan because they want to be Megan.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'm going to get the same after you. So how did that come together? How did you meet?
So Megan and I actually met a good few years ago at an event. It was like a kind of sit down afternoon tea sort of thing, but we were like opposite ends of the table, and we kind of said hi to each other as I was leaving. And then she messaged me like when I got home, like sorry I didn't really get a chance to say, but it was really nice to meet you, and like I love like your YouTube videos. And then like maybe a few months later, she'd started a channel and she put up a video about how she was like miserable in work and wanted to leave and was really unhappy. She was still working at the time and like and going to a new job, but she was like just really unhappy, and like said to her mum and dad like kind of sat them down like, I'm just so like not enjoying myself, like what do I do? And obviously I'd had a really similar experience, so I said to her, like I messaged her and I said I really enjoyed your video, like I can so relate to it, and like you should be really like proud of yourself putting that sort of thing up, because she worked for a big company, like it was a brave thing to do, but she was absolutely in the right. She wasn't being like treated well, and it was not a healthy working environment at all. So she like posted about it, and I was like, good for you. And I left my work like feeling the same kind of way, but my work environment wasn't bad at all, but I wasn't happy there, and I kind of really related to it. So we spoke, and then we'd kind of organised to like shoot together a few times. Like you'll notice a lot of influencers kind of group together and do that because they have each other, because a lot of people, like my friends and family, do not understand that I need to take pictures all day long and they don't want to be involved. So it's nice to have someone. And then I moved to Manchester like 3 years ago, and we kind of we didn't like completely lose touch, because we like maybe like speak on Instagram sometimes, but we weren't talking as much as we used to, and we obviously weren't shooting together, so we never really seen each other. And then I think it was like maybe this time last year, maybe before Christmas, both of us don't even know how it came about, but we messaged each other, just saying like, do you want to shoot again? Like I'm home for ages because obviously of lockdown and stuff. And we literally shot. Then we shot once, and she was like, I'm really hating my work at the minute, I might go part-time. And I was like, Megan, go part-time. Like you need to do, because how else are you going to put more effort into influencing if you don't have the time for it? And she like went in, spoke to her manager, can I go part-time? They approved it, that was fine. And then we shot twice a week together, every single week, and we made like a day of it. Whereas like if you're going with a certain person, you can only really go take the pictures and go home. But me and Megan would go for food, we would maybe do things after, like then we involved like our boyfriends, went on a double date, then she was in my house all the time shooting, like with meeting my family. And I think you have like a friend for life when your family love your friends. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Megan will come in and like she'll go talk to everyone, and I don't even need to be there. Like she's so comfortable with my sisters, and I always say like, if you're friends with me, you're friends with my two sisters as well, like because we're like a team. And she's like best of friends with them as well, like we're like inseparable. And then we ended up going to London together, because we were like, let's go shoot content in another place, and we went to like shows and went out for dinner, and we just had the best time. And I just thought, I actually remember thinking, the stuff I tell Megan is the stuff I would tell a best friend, so clearly she's my best friend. Like and do you know what as well, like both of our friend groups have kind of merged and they're pally now as well, which we love, which is so nice because the people like we grew up with it. And I always said, like, at the time I was like 24, I don't need any new friends, like what's the point in making new friends at this age? And I'm like, okay, that's the last time I'll say that, because now she's my bridesmaid, like, do you know what I mean?
It's incredible.
Yeah, so it's not only like that our lives work well together and we're kind of colleagues in a sense, that we were under like the same management and we get a lot of the same sort of jobs, we have similar styles, so we know what kind of backgrounds we like, we shoot well with each other, because a lot of the time you can go with like a pure tall person that likes different angles and it's hard to work with them, and it's quite a slow day. She's a very punctual person, the same as me, so it's the sort of thing that you need in a friendship to be a reliable friend. Like we just work really well together. And then as I said, like she's my bridesmaid and it's the kind of rest is history, and I can't picture a time without her now. Like we just get on so well, and it kind of got to the point where we were like, we've mentioned like a few things, loads of people said, oh, you make a joint channel, and like we've both really worked hard to get our own sort of thing, so what's the point in that? We've already got our own, and keep saying we need to do something together. And
talk to me about this charity event.
So literally I'm driving back and forth from Manchester a lot, and I was driving home, and we actually initially planned, I was waiting to say this on the podcast, but we initially planned to do a sleep out. But as influencers, we thought this is a bit risky with, you know, our job, and us sleeping out for one night is kind of
you planned to do a sleep out? Just like what I done
that
last
was
night?
exactly what I planned to do. And we kind of like haven't had the idea, because we were like, Megan and I both kind of overthink everything we do, just because of the position we're in. Understand a lot of people don't like or trust influencers.
People will hate on you straight away for
regardless of what we do. And obviously our way of like posting about it and kind of like sharing it on our platforms would be vlogging it, but is that seen as disrespectful because the people on the streets don't have a vlogging camera? It doesn't make an awful lot of sense, and we actually don't know what it's like to live on the streets, so to do it for one night isn't like representing how these people actually live. So we just scrapped the idea, and we're like, we need to do something else.
You're doing it for awareness.
That's exactly, and a lot of people don't see that, and I just thought, I got to the point where I was like, I need to use this platform for the greater good, and I actually don't know how. And like I did reach out to like a few charities, like things you could do at Christmas, and you don't really get like an awful lot of replies. I know they're actually flooded with DMs and stuff like that. So I like said to Megan, like, we need to do something like a Christmas thing, and she was like, how could we like get like loads of people in one place and blah 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 blah. So we were like voice noting back and forth, and I was going back to Manchester, and I was like, why don't we do like a big charity day we invite people to? And then she's batting off ideas, so am I. So we just came up with the idea that all the brands that small Glasgow based brands that we work with, we'd include them, invite them along to a day to do a sort of Christmas Day market that people could buy tickets to, and within their ticket they'd get like a free drink, and they'd get like 10% off all the wee stalls and a wee goodie bag and things like that. And obviously we go to events all the time and we get like goodie bags, so we thought we could reach out to the brand and maybe they could give us things, like gift us things, so that we could give them out. So we came up with all these ideas, and then it maybe came to like, and it was going so well, everything was getting approved, we got the venue, and we were only having to like pay a bit for sort of venue hire, and we got the charity. We wanted to work with a women's charity first of all, and we want to continue working with that charity obviously, but we want to give out to like all the any charity we can really. So we went with Glasgow Women's Aid, and I actually said in my group chat, like my pals like from home like group chat, I said we're going to do it for Glasgow Women's Aid, and my friend's a police officer, and she said, I actually send so many people there that I'm so glad to hear you using that. My other friends worked for the Citizens Advice Bureau, and she said, I send loads of people there, and I was like, we have definitely picked the right charity for this. We ended up having a Zoom call, hearing about everything they do. They're just an amazing charity and amazing women that work for them. So yeah, we got to like meet them, have a chat with them. Everything was coming together, and it maybe came to that a month before. Me and Megan were like, it sold out, in an hour and a half, the tickets. And me and Megan were like, I'm a bit overwhelmed, are you? And she was like, yeah, same, I didn't want to say. And we're just like, how are we doing this event? Like 600 people coming, like I'm nervous, are you? And see, when Megan's nervous, that's when you know, like, because she's so confident.
Got bad IBS as well, man.
Oh my
she
god,
must have been shitting her brains out.
I said to her like that morning, you can only eat like I think we went to Starbucks, and she was like, I'm only eating this, and I was like, yeah, good, probably best.
No coffee.
We were so stressed, and obviously we were the middleman between the venue and literally at all of the markets, the charity, like all the goodie bags. So there was so much work that went into it, but it was honestly one of the best days of like my life, and like single-handedly the best day of my career so far. It was like something that, yeah, I used my platform to share, but it wasn't about me at all. People were coming, to maybe say hi to me and Megan, but in the grand scheme of things, we raised like £15,000 for Glasgow Women's Aid, and it was like, it wasn't just that, because obviously that is the main part and it was amazing, but it was also so much fun. And coming out of like lockdown and stuff, I've not had a day like that in ages.
It's so fulfilling doing stuff for other people. It
was amazing. So we've decided that Girlies Are Out is like going to be our charity business that we like kind of run on the side and host like different events for. We're going to include the boys next time, because there are quite a lot of boys who are like, so are you not coming? And I was like, well, we're not saying no boys, but we're kind of saying why would boys want to come. It was like an event for the girls and the gays, like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't for so yes, we can invite boys next time, but the first one was for all the girls. So yeah, that's what we're going to do going forward. And like, you know, you've got a friend and someone that you can work with. Like, we'll obviously have our separate like friend chat, and then we'll have like our business chat, but yeah, we've got loads of friends that are like really great and like want to help as well. So we'd love to have a team of people that we could then pay, but people we know and trust. Do you know what I mean? Because like a lot of our friends helped do the raffle on the day, and I was like, oh my God, you girls work hard. Like all cutting about in their heels all day, like selling raffle tickets for us. It was amazing.
Because people will invest in it. And they'll invest in it through the influence of you guys. This is good stuff. This is inspirational.
And although like I love my job, that this is the best thing I've used my platform for. I always say like my favourite thing to do is obviously I love the Instagram side of things, it's so fun, but the favourite thing to do is record with my sister on the podcast, because it's like a nice wholesome thing I get to do. That's nice. And now this, like, it's just like so fulfilling, and like it's really hard work and it is stressful, but like the day was so worth it. I'm
sure you'll raise hundreds of thousands of pounds in the next few years doing that.
I hope so.
I mean, that was like us last night when we talk about the so obviously I was sleeping out last night, homeless, and you always thinking, should you vlog it, should you not? So what we done is we went live on me and Mark Hamilton. Fantastic boy, me and his TikTok, and there's a lot of misconception about there's a lot of preconception about a lot of people don't understand Mark as well, and he's just done a podcast with me, and he was brilliant on it, man. He just comes across so well. You get to know him so well, and I asked a lot of people to do it with me. I come up with these spontaneous ideas. I just want to help people. So I asked footballers to do it. I asked influencers to do it. They all said no chance, because as you know, many will just want to be seen to do it, but they will not do it. And Mark goes, yeah, I'll come and sleep rough for you. And I goes, brilliant. So we went live on TikTok most of the night, as I said, and listen, we are not homeless, so we don't. You
don't actually know how it.
I'm not homeless. You know, I live a normal life. Most people watching this live normal lives. Homeless people don't. We want to try and raise money for them to be able to live a normal life. Do you know what I mean? They shouldn't be on the streets, and there's so much. We were talking to a lot of people who work and help run the Kindness Homeless Street Glasgow team, and they were telling us there's such a misconception about homeless people. You know, that homeless people are all addicted to drugs, when it's just not true. Many of them don't even touch drugs. Do you know what I mean? Some of them, it's just because they've been maybe 16, 17, 18 and their mum and dad have died, or their only guardian have died, and they've had no house. And then when they have been on the streets, they've maybe just got used to it. And then I'm telling you, the streets, see, for some people, the streets become their safe place. That's where they're safe. They have no bills to pay. They have no worries. They might not deal with anxiety. There's a lot of mental health involved. Do you know what I mean? So the Kindness Street team who run the soup kitchen, people go there who have got a roof over their head, who just want to chat. They just turn up to the soup kitchen to chat. They don't touch the food. They don't eat. You know? So people think all these people in the queues are just homeless drug addicts. That's not what it is. Some of them will be fighting addiction. Some of them will be fighting mental health problems. Some of them will be running away from abuse, domestic abuse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they'll be homeless from venue to venue, or from family to the street to about. Some people, it's a life they've been born into, you know. And then we've got this thing, as we were talking, this has came from people who run this, that people just think, oh, we'll give them houses then. You can't just give someone who's been homeless for 5 years a house and then go, there you go, mate, you're sorted. You know, there's a lot of trauma that they see in the streets. There's a lot of mental health. You know, there's a lot of you know, they're used to sleeping on the ground. Then you're giving them a flat. You know what I mean? They're maybe not going to buy a bed.
Yeah, what they need is a friend, maybe. Yeah. There's
this huge, and that's what I said to them last night. I said, so we're going to raise as much money, and I'm going to try and keep doing it for them. I think we've raised well over 10 grand. You know what I mean? People who are saying, oh, you might be doing this for, well, people know I don't do stuff for attention, but they might be thinking other influencers will be doing it for attention, blah, blah, blah. So listen, yous are sitting on your arse in the house, doing fuck all.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Eating a £45 Nando's that you've just had delivered.
Yeah.
We're sitting in the street. We might be filming it, but we've just raised 20 grand.
Yeah.
That's going to make a huge impact in people's lives, and you have done nothing. So don't comment. Don't give your negativity to it.
There's such a fine line between like the attention-seeking thing and just raising awareness, and I think people don't see the line. No. They don't understand it.
And even if someone was doing something, see if someone went and done something for attention and they raised 50 grand, it's 50 grand all the rest of us didn't raise sitting on our arses. Do you know what I mean? So at least the money is going. People will appreciate that. Not saying to do it for attention, but there's a huge problem. There's a huge, you know, we do not understand this homeless epidemic. We do not understand it. We just think, honestly, people last night on the live going, I thought it was just homeless people were all just drug addicts. Yeah. Like, what? Yeah. Like, are you for real? Like, do you know what I mean? That's just not how it works. So what's next for Molly Mcfarlane?
What is next for me? Well, I'm getting married.
Yes, you got engaged. You got engaged. So when was this talk?
So that was in August. I was in Croatia.
Whereabouts? Split? Dubrovnik?
Dubrovnik, yeah. And I actually, 2 days before we went, we were going to get our tests, because it was like around that time where you had to, it was all very confusing when you were travelling, and I went to get my test and I had this very bad pain in my stomach when I was driving, and I actually like collapsed in pain, like vomiting, had to pull over, like Sean had to take the wheel and he took me to A&E, and I could not get up. They had to put me in like a wheelchair to get in, and it turns out I had 6 kidney stones before I went to Croatia. So I was like, right, fantastic. They wouldn't let me leave. They kept me in, and I was like, no, like I need to go on holiday. And this was Sean's like only. Me and Megan had been away with like work and stuff, but this was his like only holiday of the year. And I was like, it's not been away in so long. Like we were so excited. And he was like really adamant that we were still going, and I was like, mate, I don't think I'm out of here. Like I'm really unwell. I'm in a lot of pain. Like I don't think it's happening. And then I stayed in for I think a night, and then I said to them the next day, look, like can I at least go get my PCR just to get my results, like just in case I do get to go, because I need to have that in enough time just to fly. And they said, well, what we'll do, we're going to give you antibiotics anyway, and you can take them and you can come back if you're in any more pain, but we do not advise you to fly like in this state. And I was like, right, okay, whatever, but I'm going to fly. I was like, but I'm going. So I was like pure limping out of the hospital. I could hardly stand up straight. My stomach was in such a state. And like I'm not, like Megan will tell you, I'm not a sort of person, I do not go to doctors. Like I just like I'm just like, well, I feel fine, so like I'll get on with it. I'll take a paracetamol, that'll be fine. I'm not the sort of person, like I'm just like, oh, I'll be fine. Like my mum and dad like that as well, but I had to get medical assistance. This was really bad. But anyway, so I ended up getting out, got my PCR negative, obviously. Like Sean was like, well, let's just like, we're going to go, like get the case packed. So I'm like limping about, and then we got in the morning, alarm didn't go off. Obviously we both had no sleep because I'd been in the hospital, nearly missed the flight. Finally got there, I'm in agony, and I was like, let's just go straight to the pool and just chill out. So I'm like sleeping at the pool, like finally relaxed, like, and the pain was kind of easing, and he woke me up and was like, right, let's go back to the room because I've got dinner booked, like let's go get ready. So I'm kind of like half asleep, like what's going on, like why is he getting me up? And I got back to the room and I was like, it's fucking 4 o'clock, why is he making me get ready at this time, like what is going on? And he was like being weird out in the balcony, and he was like, can you come here? And I thought he's going to show me like a pure boring view in the balcony, like here we go. So I went out and he started like lowering to the ground, and I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, don't, that's not funny, get up, like don't joke about that. And he was like, let me talk, like, because I kept interrupting him. And he was just like, he opened it, and as soon as I seen it was like a green ring, like green, I thought, that's an engagement ring, like there's no way that, because I know he would get me green, because like but yeah, when he opened it I was like, is that an engagement ring? And I just feel like so young to be engaged. Like none of them, like I have one friend that is, but that's it. Like we're all quite like, no one really knows what they're doing with themselves. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so young. Like, so I actually said to him, like once it all happened, I was like, so we actually get married? And he was like, well, it was a proposal, so yeah. And I was like, but like, is it real? Like, and he was like, well, obviously I'm not giving you a ring and getting down on one knee and joking about it. But
how did it feel?
Like surreal. Like I can't even explain it. It's just the weirdest thing. Somebody proposing to you is just like, I honestly
bet
still.
He was absolutely shitting himself the whole time.
Oh my God. Well, I would never have known. Like genuinely,
So
never. He was so good at hiding it. But like, as the minute I got into the balcony, I thought, weird behaviour here. Like there's something going on. And it turns out it was that. He was like just being dead weird and awkward and like kind of speaking but kind of not. And then started like loading. And I was like, what's happening?
So
like,
you're not going to wash my feet, man. Get away from my feet.
And he pulled the box out of his wet trunks. I was like, oh, that's so romantic.
Sexy.
Yeah.
Very sexy.
So yeah, and then it was just like FaceTimed our family. Like, oh my God.
But you've been together since you were 16.
Yeah.
So even though it's young to be engaged, I think that's a thing these days, isn't it? People are saying, there's a conditioning now that we should get engaged when we're 30s now, in our 30s instead of our 20s now. It's kind of changed,
like,
isn't it?
We've been together like a long time, and there was like 6 months where we weren't together, like in lockdown, and I was like, right, well, that's my life absolutely over, like fantastic. I was gutted, I was miserable.
What, you split up?
Weren't together, but literally just before lockdown, and then we went into lockdown, and I was like, oh, just my luck, a pandemic, when I get dumped, fantastic. And I was just like devastated, and then we ended up like speaking, getting back together. And
it's because his fingers were sore for taking so many pictures. He was like, fuck this, man,
I'm out of here. Exactly. And then I think when we got back together, he just decided at the time, like, I'm going to get a ring. And then he had the ring for ages, but was just waiting for us to maybe go on holiday or do something nice so he could do it in a nice setting. But everyone's like, so would you pick the ring? I'm like, I had absolutely no idea. I'm not really into like stuff like that. Like, I'm into weddings, obviously. I'm very excited about that. But I mean, like rings and diamonds, like this is not really my thing. I'm not that interested. And everyone's like, so you at least had an idea? I was like, not a clue. Like, I thought he would maybe do it at like 10 years, because then he would be fully like graduated and would be like together. It's a nice time to do it, 10 years, and we're like a bit older, but no, it's the perfect time now.
Well, that's 6 months. There was a lot of time for us to think and reevaluate and regulate our thoughts during lockdown winter. So that 6 months you weren't together. People think people think, oh, you're on a break. If you go on a break, it's never going to work again. It's bullshit. There's just everything's circumstantial. Everyone's journey's different.
100%.
My papa once said to me, right, so my nan and papa have been together now 60. Fucking hell, man, I've done this again. My papa's just died a couple of months ago, and I've just talked about him as if he's still here again. I've done that again, man. I forget sometimes that he's passed away. So my nan and papa have been together 68 years, 69 years. And he goes, Kenny, it's not about, like, he said, sometimes it won't just be a bad week. He says, sometimes you'll have a bad or a tough year together. You know what I mean? He says, it's not like, he says, you know, humans aren't made to just be with one person their whole life. Do you know what I mean? We're social beings, man. Do you know what I mean? We've conditioned ourselves to just have one partner our whole life, or the pressures to do that kind of thing, you know. And he was like, sometimes you'll have a bad or a tough year with kids, pressures, everything. Work could be hard, and you can just be doing each other's tits in. Sometimes you need a bit of time. You might need a wee break. You might need this and that. Do you know what I mean? You might need a wee bit of downtime. You might need to re-spice it up and stuff like that.
As much as like it is awful at the time, and you're like, oh my God, my life is absolutely over, because obviously I didn't want that. I'm so grateful for it now. I'm like, thank the Lord, because I wouldn't be engaged now. Like, I wouldn't be marrying him. Like, obviously, I think especially boys as well, like, they hurt later on, whereas I was devastated at first, and then I think it kind of hit him later on, and then he was like, oh wait, what have I done?
Hurt. Well, I tell you, boys hurt straight away. I promise you that. It's just the same, they just don't show it. And then I think he like realised later on. And I was like, see, he probably even realised at the time though. He probably just didn't. He was probably confused. He probably, you know, people go through these things in their life. What do they want? What do they really want? It could have been his insecurities playing on him. Could have been his mental health playing on. Could have been his anxiety. Could be scared.
Yeah.
There's so many different things that come to play. But I'm so glad you're back together. And
thank you.
And you know, there's not one set path for us. You know, there might be another twist and turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know. You might end up.
You really never know.
You might end up with Brad Pitt. Do you know what I mean? And Sean will be like that.
I'm not into Brad Pitt. He does not do it
Brad
for
Pitt
me.
Back in the day, man. What a handsome man. So he was off. Don't know what he looks like now. I've not seen him in a film for ages. But so for you, it's been amazing having you on. And I can't wait. I cannot believe you've signed up for the Sleep Out. She signed up for the Sleep Out, and she signed Megan up. See if you just do it, man. See if we can make this happen.
Of course.
In like 4, 5, 6 months' time.
I think that's what we need as well. We need a group to do it with.
That's what I tried to do there, and I couldn't get a group. And obviously, you guys are busy. You had to watch who was like. You guys are so busy to take a week off work for you as well. If we were to make it, we were to do 1 sleep out or 3 sleep out, you're losing a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? So next, I'm going to do it with a group, and then even maybe I do 5 days, and then people come out with me every kind of day, because as a group you can raise more money, you know, and as a group you can come together.
Platforms as well,
different platforms, different personalities, people, different experiences, you know. I think we could really do something special, or do a mass sleep out in like Bellahouston Park or Glasgow Green, even if we done it in tents, man.
Absolutely.
I think we should do this and just raise so much money, you know. See if we could raise just so much money where we could give, like, make it the Kindness Homeless street team the money to go and build their hub or whatever they're going to do.
Well,
in the future,
Girlies Are Out can host it. We can, we can involve people in it. We can get everyone to do it.
We can even do the Kindness team in Women's Aid.
That can be the charity we do it for.
Well, we could do it for both. Women's Aid too, and we just split it half and half. Boom. You know what I mean? Women's Aid get half, the Kindness get half. It also brings them together and stuff like that. So all working together. This thing in Glasgow now where we should all do a private thing and we're all against each other, and there's awareness to be made for everyone. There's cake to eat for everyone. You know, let's help each other. Let's get behind each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? But it's been incredible having you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Business wise, what's next?
Well, I don't know if I like to say. But,
all right, don't do it.
But loads of exciting things coming next year.
Right.
Like
222, huge.
Yeah, really biggest for me so far.
Good.
But yeah, I'll probably get into trouble if I say
more stuff for you and Megan as well.
Loads more for me. And
you don't
Megan.
need to say. You don't need to say because it keeps people like, oh my god.
Yeah, keep them on their toes. I hate being that person, but I actually will get into trouble.
No, I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully have you on again. It'd be funny actually. I should probably just get you and Megan on together, man. That'd be so funny.
Definitely, I would love it.
What a laugh! But it's been amazing having you. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
I need to sleep.
You need to sleep.
I'm shattered, man.
Yeah.
And guys, if you want to donate to my sleep out last night, I'll put the link in the description. The link's also in my bio on Instagram and TikTok. If you can't donate, just share. You know, it's a hard time of year now. Just share or give it a like. Check Molly out on Instagram, Miss Molly Mcfarlane on YouTube.
And I mean, I use TikTok, but I feel a bit old for TikTok, to be honest.
Yeah, TikTok's actually a really good platform when you find the right bit for it.
My management do really push TikTok, but I'm just like, I just can't do those dances.
I can't. But you don't need to do the dances. I've not done one dance on TikTok.
Not
one because I can't dance, so I'm not going to do it. It would just be people laughing at me, taking the piss at me. I get that enough. So yeah, brilliant.
Thank you.
I think I'm in limbo right now. My head is just.
I think you're
fried.
You're hallucinating. You need to sleep.
See, from just doing that last night in the street. See the first camp spot, we got 2 big rats walked by, climbed in a wee hole, and I mean these were rats on steroids, man.
Have you seen the TikToks of New York rats? Because that's what I imagine. Oh no,
they were rats
like the size of my
man.
dash hound.
I know. No. I thought it was my mate John. Fucking straight out the gym, man. Straight out pure gym.
No, I hate them. Rats are horrible.
Thank you, guys. Take care. All right. Remember, subscribe, like, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
Amazing.